Okay, July 9th, I made this video here about the CPI report coming out, that I would wait for 5:30 in the morning for the CPI report to come out Thursday morning, July 11th, anticipating to beat these numbers. And if it did, that the market would spike and I would take my profits off the table. So what happened? The CPI report came in negative 0.01, so it beat this month over month, and the one I said was critical was the 3.1. It needs to be 3.1 or less, and the market will probably spike. Anything over that would not be good. So it came in at 3.0 today. So what happened? So the prices fell for the first time in June since 2020. So you can go look this up. Based on the inflation falling for this first time, it's going to help lower our interest rates. Supposedly it won't in September, but maybe, sorry, it won't in July, but maybe in September. I don't really think it needs to, but that's the perception, so that's good enough to drive the market up earlier this morning. And then what happens here is, so your CPI report, if you look month over month, well, we were at 3.1 and 3.2 a little bit ago because the price of fuel had fallen a little bit. And then it went back up 3.5, 3.4, which are really not good numbers, but the market's been going up based on AI, and we now have an inflation of 3.0. So the market spiked based, for the last week, the market has been spiking based on this news would be around 3%. Because it hit around 3%, profit takers can't come in, which is what I said would happen. It got the numbers we wanted. Profit takers will come in and take money off the table. If you look back here, when it hit, where was it? 2.6% here, and this 2.5%, this is when the market started crashing back in 2020. It hit 2%. It went over 2% for the first time, and then when it hit this 2.6, at this point all of a sudden things started getting crazy, and then it hit 4.2 and the market crashed. So we're really right in between that, and this market tanked because of these numbers. So we're at 3.0. Who knows what's going to happen next quarter, but the perception right now is the market will be rewarded, but profit takers, I warned, would come in and take that. If you want to see where the real inflation is, if they tally everything up, if you look for year over year, look at how high some of these numbers still are. Is your wages going up as high as these numbers? That's why you feel the effect of inflation if you're not. The only thing we're really, if you're buying a used car, I guess it's the time to buy a used car right now. Everything else to me seems up pretty solid. Fuel being my number one reason why I think this is really down is this didn't have a huge increase on us, and gasoline's down and energy's down. So those are probably the two biggest factors I'd say why the CPI report came in lower than expected. So what's going on here? If you take a look at some of these here, I got the stocks down and tech down, my two biggest ones. I took profits out. I sold the stocks at 70 something, and then tech at 100, and tried to get out 115. So I got out 112 or something like that. All right. Why are these down? Because profit takers, I said, would come in and take that money off the table immediately after the news at 5:30. So the NASDAQ jumped about 50 points. It was down about 30 points prior to the news, but yesterday it was way up high, so it wasn't down that much. Like I said, yesterday would be the time to take the sure thing. I wrote it out, took a chance on the CPI report. I was hoping for a much bigger spike. I was hoping for the NASDAQ to jump 100, 200 points. It only jumped about 50 points, and I just took my profit off the table. So where does all the money going? Well, based on CPI, if the inflation's really, truly going down and rates are going to get cut, where you're going to see the big changes are would be the small cap, mid cap. So I bought July 2nd, I bought this Home Builders at 85. I sold it. I had to sell at 105, so now I'm kind of kicking myself because it looks like it's going to go hit that. But it was up 10%. I'm up 20% almost on that investment. I just took the money off the table, took the sure thing. I also called the real estate buy a few months ago saying that if the CPI reports are coming in good, that's going to be good news for real estate, and that news alone will drive the market up. I also have a sell order of the small cap at 41, and biotech also is feeling the rewards. And then also you have green energy like Plug coming up, and mid cap funds doing well. So that's where the money's going. Even utilities is going up at 4%. Remember, 10% on a year basis for utilities is good. So being up over 4% is a huge number for utility funds. All right, so that's what's going on. I sold off my tech, took all my not all my profits. I took profits off the table.